Do we want to talk to the camera first?
You can talk to the camera. Talk to the camera.
I don't like that. So we're starting to install the rear axle now. We're going to start with the lower control arms, and we're going to put the hard to fit rubber bushings in first because the other joint goes in the other end a little easier. Makes assembly quicker and less painful.
Basically the same process as the front axle with just 4 arms instead of 3.
Right. An important note, we have temporarily lost 2 of the bolts for the upper control arms, so we're just going to use something that's close just to get it in position so we can see where everything lands, and as soon as we find the bolts, we'll put the right bolts in.
Or a trip to the hardware store.
Or a trip to the hardware store and get other bolts.
Okay.
So. Alright. So this, we want the angle to come in towards the axle and come up for ground clearance. Hammered all the way in. Come back.
Okay, stop. Yeah, you're very
close.
Very close. And this is why we do this here
first.
And first. Okay. Okay.
So we get the alignment punches to get the inner sleeve to line up. Okay.
Get the nut down there.
Okay.
1 down.
Just try wiggling it around.
There you go. There we go.
Right.
2 down.
That's about where we need to be.
Okay.
Probably good. And did we want washers with these?
We should try if we can. It would be good.
What size are these?
I think we're still a little high.
Let's do your side first.
Okay. What do you need? The alignment punch. Got it. Does that allow me to do that?
Yeah. And you gotta come forward
Quite a bit.
several inches.
But hold on, if you come forward, these are gonna already pretty far
Don't worry about it.
Okay. We'll have to. We'll move those accordingly
So tell me when we pull
when the
this.
time comes. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
That's good. It's good-ish.
Yeah. That's. Oh.
I still need to come forward a bit.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. Okay. That looks pretty close.
Okay. There it is.
Go to the 1/2 inch forward, 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, this is the get a bolt through the whole kind of conversation.
Okay, this is. Alright. Okay, it needs to come up. Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. Watch your hand. Oh, that might have been just a hair too much, but give it a tap. Come through. No, it needs to come back down a little bit. Not much.
A little more?
A little more. A little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. Good. There you go.
One down.
Thought that was 3.
Oh, we gotta come back. A
far?
ways. Quite a ways. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit further. Just a hair. Okay.
I do. Get that thing lined up so
it's straight.
yeah, horizontal.
Doesn't want to go in any further.
Are you catching right here?
Are we? Yep, we are.
Crap.
Okay. Can we shift the axle straight sideways? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep, we're good.
Washer, where's the nut?
Okay. Lower control arms are in place. There it is. Oh, what did we do before alignment punches?
Use screwdrivers.
How far is the axle going to go up?
Well, that's the question here at this point.
I don't think you're going to. I think you're going to hit a stopping point on the articulation. You've already got so much.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we can always turn
Well-
this in a little further too.
Yeah, the question is going to be, yeah, how much further down can it go before everything binds up?
Yeah. Okay. So let's.
5.
Yeah, and I need to loosen this one. So, yeah, just make sure it doesn't turn. And that's just in the wrong spot.
You're worried about a binding when the axle goes lower,
Right.
not when the axle goes higher.
Well,
Yeah.
as it goes up, I'm concerned about contact and having it hit things. As it goes lower, things move into a bind.
Okay. From here, and you guys are the engineers. From here, it looks to me like you're going to bind up there. Just
Right.
When you get your natural ride height.
And that's the question is, yeah, where is ride height actually going to be?
It's not going to be here.
We should be higher than ride height now, but that's kind of what's in the back of my mind. And I'm wondering if, yeah, flipping these 180 degrees isn't what has to happen.
I don't like that idea.
If you've got 5 rotations, I bet.
I just don't like the idea that then we've got the control arms running into the floor of the Jeep.
Right, of course. But if you can rotate that another 5 times, that might.
Yeah, and that's
And it might be that we just have to bring the pinion down. You know,
Exactly.
okay. You should be
loose.
loose. Okay. You good?
5 rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, This to me
That's further back.
is way long from our current position.
Yeah.
What that probably means
Is that the axle's out of center?
Yep.
excellent is
To push this.
needs to go, yeah, exactly. Much better, much better. Hold on.
The mallet is behind you.
We're still caught here.
Do we need to come in a little further?
Feel like we need to come in another rotation, at least. And we're still
We're still
sitting on top of the truss here, so
Okay.
that's one more. Okay. And not as close as I thought it was. Okay. Well,
And so we probably want to take a rotation out of this guy too.
yeah. Well, we want to see whether or not we're centered, right? That's what
Yeah.
that comes down to is,
Yeah.
are we in fact centered underneath the Jeep?
Looking for clearance.
We have all four control arms in attached. Now we're looking at how does it move as the axle comes up.
I'm just watching all the arms and everything moving around, making sure that we're not going to hit anything. As high as the jet space,
As the jack goes without putting the extension back on.
and the extension is too tall to get under the.
This is still.
We still have space there.
We still have. Well, we have a. I mean, we're coming up tight.
Yeah.
I would say that looks like to me like that is in contact.
Okay. So we still have adjustability.
I still feel like the pinion needs to come
Come down a little.
down.
Yeah. Alright. So we're lifting up just to move the axle around, see how everything fits. We have some issues with clearance here that we need to shorten these control arms, get the whole assembly to rotate forward. Looks like we're about in contact now, or have been a little bit.
A little more
Yeah,
adjustment.
it's just you start with the estimate that they give you, and put it in and test it, and adjust and test and adjust and test and adjust. All right, so we took another 5 turns, adjusting
That light.
adjusting the arm shorter to get the pinion to move down a little bit and to reduce the binding in through here. And so it's just adjust, check, and so we're on the check stage now.
That already looks a lot better.
Is that about as high as you go?
We are out of jack.
Okay.
I do still see air there.
Yep, just a little bit. This arm is rotated just slightly, so the joint is a little funky, but both of them now have clearance. So I'm happy with that so far.
And we're vertically, we're in a position very similar to where we were at with the front.
Yeah.
In the sense that the lower control arms are now coming up in contact with the pads on the lift, which puts them about 3/4 of an inch below the frame.
Yeah.
And in a spot where we may have issues with the control arms actually coming into contact with the frame with this wider axle.
Yeah. Well, I think looking at it here, I don't think we're gonna have a problem. Yeah, I think. Hi, Zephyr. I think we have frame clearance. The pad from the lift is in the way, but I think frame is okay.
Is okay.
Where's the tape measure? I'm gonna check the. See if I can do this without shining a light in the camera. Check the how much more up we can go before we start hitting body. And less than 4.5 inches, probably 4 inches when you count the bolt heads.
From the flat here.
From the flat, yeah, it's 4.5 from the flat, and to not quite touching the body. And that's, we want it to ride a little bit lower. So I think we're above ride height at this point.
Well, certainly above ride height.
Yeah.
We want to figure out where stuff needs to be or where bump stop needs to be.
Yeah.
Test fit 7,222. Try to get the control arm length dialed in here.
Yeah. Hitting the spring pad.
So let's keep an eye on how this moves from here.
Okay. Yeah. It's you're pinching off the.
Yep. And that's the end of the jack as well.
Yeah. It's a little bit higher with a little bit more lumber on the jack.
There.
Quite a bit more clearance on the control arms, and the pinion angle closer to ride height. We want the pinion pointing straight at the transfer case so that the U-joint is in a good position. We will have a double carbon U-joint on the back here to handle all the movement, but that looks very close. Hi, Flash. That looks very close to what it needs to be. I'm happy with that.
Yep. I'm looking at it and thinking, yeah, from this angle, I don't think I don't want to tip the pinion any further forward.
No.
So I think we're in a pretty good place. The question will be, once we get the pads out of the way, make sure we understand where our bump stops need to be in here. Now, thinking about this from this perspective of the back half kit and the 10-inch stretch, this space that we have here, which is, the span of my hand,
6-8 inches.
is where in a traditional Jeep your spring would have to live. And you think about that, in order for that spring to compress into this space, that would have to be your total, coil-bound space for that spring. So the back half kit gives us a lot more room here than we would have had with the traditional frame.